We hope that you're hot this weekend, and certainly Michael Beychok knows what it means to get hot. Happy to welcome Michael in the tournamentedge.net, and of course Michael Beychok, among the NHC champions that comes back annually for shots at a second NHC title, trying to become the first two-time winner. But the BCBC, the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge, absolutely, he's got dead aim on it. Michael, good morning.
Good morning, Steve. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, it's always terrific to connect with you. It's been actually too long, and we got a couple of things to talk about in terms of being able to play the BCBC from home, and how much of an advantage that may be, actually, in your mind. Then Breeders' Cup in general, and the Tournament Edge, and the Tournament Edge, sponsor of our broadcast here from Santa Anita this year.
Right. So the first part of the question, the advantage at home. I thought a little bit about that, and I'm playing this year from home due to circumstances that you and I have discussed before. The elections are right around the corner, so those tasks that I have to do keep me at home. But we've talked about how to create your own environment. When you play, and there's no more comfortable environment for me, and I think a lot of tournament players. Playing from home from their computer in Twin Spires is allowing, for the first time, you to play the BCBC at home. I mean, from playing and being around contests that the atmosphere at contest is a mix of, celebration, it's a mix of camaraderie, and it's, the horses, and there are a lot of distractions, and they get in the way sometimes of making the right kind of decisions. And being at home, you can create your own. You're in your environment. So, I'm hoping, at least I'm trying to tell myself that I'll have a little bit of an advantage because I won't have an excuse to say that I was distracted because, I went to watch the horses or went to talk to somebody or something like that. So, I hope it's an advantage, but we'll know we'll know Saturday night at about 5:38, your time.
Well, in terms of being away from this particular environment, and I suppose a certain tension that the room, and of course players in the BCBC here can be in any part of the building. There are concentrations of them in certain pockets, but that's different than the NHC where pretty much everybody is within a certain proximity. I wonder if being away like that, Michael, is a really an advantage in this era, given that tournament players are generally solitary and they're playing at home on a week-to-week basis so often.
Right. I'm hoping that's true. And these are some of the types of things the advantages, the creating your own atmosphere, sticking to a game plan. These are all the things that we talk about on the tournamentedge.net currently. We have blogs. We have some of the best contest players in the country that are part of our group, some of the most successful, some of whom are playing in the BCBC. But yeah, I think it's going to be a kind of a new experience actually to play from home this type of bankroll tournament.
I asked yesterday when we had visits with John Kinchin and Pete Fornatell, wondered because of the heavy favorites and the horses that seem to dominate the Classic this year in terms of California Chrome and Arrogate. You think back to 2 years ago and 3 years ago when Mucho Macho Man and Fort Larned, there were some horses that that you could play with at prices, and that's how, in fact, the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge was decided. Do you sense, as you look at this card for Saturday in particular, that your move's got to be made in the turf or the filly and mare sprint?
Right, and again, that's a great way to look at the whole contest, things that we discuss on the tournamentedge.net, strategy, But yeah, I mean, last year for sure, if you thought, and most people did, that American Pharaoh was going to win, it was going to be very difficult to construct a winning wager if you needed to, get another 20 grand or 15 grand or something, So, you got to look at it this year and kind of in the same way. I mean, if you really like California Chrome and you really think that, he's going to be the winner, and or Arrogate probably, those two, if they do run true to form, they're going to create a very short exacta, a relatively short trifecta, regardless of who runs third, and they won't offer much value on the win spot. So, you kind of have to work your way back and say, okay, where is it? Rather than making, my one large all-in wager or whatever it is on the last race, what other race is going to offer that type of value where I can go to the top and then hope to hang on by creating some defensive wagers, in the Classic. I think, a couple of years ago I was in a pretty good position going into the final race, and I, told my partners and table mates, I said, I really don't like anybody in the Classic that much, but it almost forced you to go all in, and that was the year Byron won, and I didn't obviously like Byron, but I'm going to try to avoid being forced to make a large wager on a race that I don't really have a strong opinion on or that doesn't offer a lot of value.
In terms of, you mentioned the things that you talk about on the Tournament Edge, before we talk about a few races and maybe get a couple of opinions, talk about the evolution of the Tournament Edge and what you've been working on, you, Barbara Bowley, Anthony Treza, Dr. Treza. It's really, I go to it on a regular basis, have found any number of blog comments. I also was keeping tabs on winners each weekend with the summary of that one of the blogs has had the weekend recaps. Talk about the site, because it's been a few years. It's like 3 years now that Tournament Edge has really been a big part of the scene on the contest players.
Right. It's been a couple of years. We started out as a site where players came together, contest players, to kind of create a community of contest players, offer some content. We've written a lot of articles. We do blogs. It's all about strategy. It's about recounting who won, who lost, how you won, how you lost, so that other players, can learn. That's really what we wanted it to be, a place where you can go as a community and, learn from other players, learn from successful players as well. And so, we've moved forward into, we offer, we've offered some picks, and, we'll have some picks up on the site this weekend, different types of picks where if you're playing a contest, we're going to give you a blue chip play, a value play, and a buster play. So, depending on where you are in the contest, so we tailor our picks, for contest players, not just for, the guy that's betting or, lady that's betting out of a bankroll. So we'll have some of those up for both days, and you can go on there, and they're extremely cheap, but they're very valuable. And then the thing that I'll talk about today, given the opportunity, you're the first, we're going to announce on your show first, so you have a real exclusive here, Steve, and a scoop, that the Friday after Breeders' Cup on November 11th, that we're going to take this site one more step, and we're going to offer online contests. And these contests are not going to be, your run-of-the-mill $2 win place, pick and pray, or live, which we'll have those, of course. But we're really going to have some contests that are brand new. They have different structures. They're going to try to take some of the, we call it the bombing out of, the end of a contest. So we're going to, to require more luck. We will have some contests that resemble as much as possible, the contests that we play at live sites, meaning bankroll. I mean, there's very few there. There are no contest sites now that offer a bankroll contest, which is kind of, strange that, you qualify as a $2 win place contest to play a bankroll contest. So We're going to have a lot of different new, exciting contests that I think players are going to be attracted to. It's not going to be anything that you've ever seen before, and we hope it's going to be very successful. And again, it's players creating contests for players. We've gotten a lot of input from other contest players about what they want to see, what contests they want to play. And so we've created some, and we'll continue to create more contests as we roll out. But next Friday, you can start to play, and you can actually go today and sign up on the tournamentedge.net. So I encourage everybody to do that and check it out, because it's going to be it's going to be great.
Oh, that's very cool, Michael. Congratulations to you and Barbara and Anthony. Exciting, and it just shows. I mean, it's funny. It's yet another example of what we've talked about. The investment in the industry and the bright, successful people that believe in the future of the game, whether it's something like Timeform and everything that the Mark Annenberg worked on, and there's no shortage of these examples. Equibase, with the fact we've got the Stats Race Lens seminar today at 6 o'clock, 6 to 7. It's very encouraging when you see people that you respect and put money up and are investing in the game, and wish you the best of luck for that. Let's get a couple of opinions and a couple of horses that you're going to lean on a little bit. I know you want to keep it close to the vest, but maybe go the other way. A couple of horses that you want to bet against.
Well, I'm you're right. I'm kind of in an awkward position. I do also, I got my picks on Bristnet, which I've had for all the major events for the past, few years. So people can go there and they can, get the picks. And if you're playing against me, you can see, who I've, scoped out. And, I don't know how they're going to use that information, because I'm not sure how I'm going to use it. But if they can figure it out, more like, the best of luck to them. But, so, as I said, the Classic is, to me, it almost boils down pretty much to two horses. I'm sure all your guests have covered that. The one intriguing horse that I do, and I have an affinity for the Donegal folks, who are, great people. Keen Ice is not to be overlooked. I know he's got to step up his game. He may get a pace set up that is almost perfect for him, that he needs to win. Being in the hands of Todd Pletcher, Dale Romans did a fantastic job with Keen Ice. Sometimes changing barns, wakes a horse up a little bit. So just like, changing teams in on a football team or a baseball team, getting a new coach. So look, at big odds, he could be something, a horse that you might want to consider. So that would be a horse that I'm interested in, looking at. The other horses, I don't know, races, let's just start, the European horses tend to do very, very well in the turf races, except for the sprints, especially in California. I mean, it's really amazing how many races they've won over the past 4 or 5 years. This year, however, it looks like, I think our contingent of, juvenile turf horses and turf horses are very good. But it's gonna be hard for me, to overlook or go against, a European sent over by, Sir Michael Studi, who has a great record when he sends horses over, or Aidan O'Brien, who obviously has won a lot of races. They're getting first Lasix. They might be finding some ground that they like to run on more than soft or, softer ground. So, as a general rule or overview, I would say pay very close attention to the Europeans in the turf races. And there's a French filly that I think, French filly or colt, I'm looking forward to betting, but the name escapes me at this point. So those are kind of my preliminary opinions. I think the interesting race, the Dortmund Gunrunner matchup, that looks a little chalky to me. But I think Gunrunner, this might be his right distance. And to take nothing away from Dortmund, he's only lost to 2 champions. So it's he's undefeated except for running against California Chrome and American Pharaoh, which makes him an awfully good horse. So I'm just yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to finding that spot at some point during the day, either Friday or Saturday, that, you know, kind of speaks to me and says, this is the opportunity. You know, this is the place where you need to take your chance. And in a bankroll contest, you know, you gotta just go with it, and you can't really chip your way up. It's something I've learned my lesson playing bankroll contests. You really have to take a shot, and that's what I'll try to do.
Michael Beychok, and of course you can follow Michael on Twitter, Beychok Racing, and the tournamentedge.net, and I guess a week from tomorrow, 4th, 11th, a week from tomorrow, live contest action on the tournamentedge.net. Michael, best of luck in the BCBC, and overall, we'll talk again soon.
Best of luck to you, Steve. Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks a lot. Michael Beychok, everybody. Let's take a